Hi, this is day 11 of my video challenge, and I have some sad news. Yesterday afternoon, I knew it was happening. I did take a video of a very short portion of the last part of her life, but the alpaca that I've been making jokes about, her miming death for the past year, this time she wasn't miming. It really did happen. And I could see that it was about to happen. She was just not getting up anymore, and everybody was sort of hovering around her. So I went in and made sure that when she laid down, she had some hay to put her head on, so that I'm sure it's just an illusion to us humans, but it brought me comfort knowing that if she passed away, it would be done in a comfortable head setting. So later on in the day, when I got back from my activities, I happened to look out my side window and see into their pasture, and I could see she was still exactly as I had left her, which told me that that was the end of that. And the other alpacas, though, it was so interesting. They were at least 20 feet away, and they had formed a little semicircle of four, as if they were at a memorial or a wake or something. And it was just precious to watch them just sit there. They cush. Alpacas have a way of folding their legs underneath them and just going down in the ground. They call it cushing. And so that's what they were doing. All four of them were in that semicircle facing towards this sweet girl. So I let that go, and then knew I was going to have to deal with that today, which was to go out and figure out where I was going to move her to, because I just let them fold into the land. There are different ways of doing it, but I have over the years watched the science experiment that unfurls, and I find it very interesting to see how quickly nature will take over things like that, and how many ecosystems come about to partake in whatever nutrients or things that they get from it. So, for instance, the fleece. The fleece is very good for mulching the land, composting the land. Birds like to use it to build and line their nests with. So there's always a use for it, even if it's just for mulch or adding good protein type things into your compost. There's some really good things that come out of the fleece itself. It's a very wonderful fleece, and if anybody is interested, I can tell you a little bit more about it. I'm always fascinated with how very different alpaca fleece is, the fiber is, from the wool fiber on sheep. That's why it's hypoallergenic, and it's warmer than any of those other wools as well. So much for that. But this morning was an early morning. This is my international day. Most of the early morning, I am teaching students in Western Canada. I teach students in Albania. I finish up the day at the end of the evening, which is super early for them in the morning, in the Nepal student. He's over there in Kathmandu. And so it's a very long day for me on Mondays. So I knew that I was going to have to get up very early and finish my chores and think about the alpaca and what I would do early in the morning. And it was still dark. I had my headlamp on for my running days, and so I can see where I'm going in the dark. And as I went out to feed the donkeys and at least put their feet out, I didn't think they would be around or awake, but I heard them. And I looked up, and there they are standing in the dark, staring at me with my headlamp, making their eyes glow red. And they're looking at me, and they're making little donkey noises. And I go, wait, what are you doing over behind a fence between us? What is that? I'm in your pen. Why are you over there in a pen that nobody is using right now? And how did you get over there? That was the other big question I was asking. And I know that there must be a hole in a fence somewhere around there. I don't know. I'm going to have to call my guys. Everybody should have a fence guy. I'm going to call my fence guy and say, somebody has been, I should have been alerted by the fact that there was that missing donkey for so many weeks. So anyway, all 5 of them are still here, by the way. So I will have to take care of that. Those little donkeys are off in the corner in another paddock. So I will have to take care of that as well. So I'm about to get off here. I got to my studio early for my afternoon run, and I will now start making the phone calls to the people that I need to say, I need some help here. I was able to move the alpaca this morning. It involved a lot of dragging. I can't get the wheelbarrow in that particular pen, but I could drag her. I'm very strong. I know I don't look that way, but I am very strong, lifting 50-pound bags all the time. So there I was, dragging this poor deer to a nice secluded area that will be all right and will not be disturbing anybody, and no one will be disturbing her other than the things that are supposed to be disturbing her, as she is now going to become part of the earth again. So not a great start to the day, but these things happen. I was spending some time this weekend with someone who is a palliative medical expert. This is what she does for a living. And as we were having this discussion, she said that she has discovered that children have a much better acceptance of their inevitable death. So, for instance, a child who's having chemotherapy, the parents may be avoiding it and pretending that it's not happening, but that she says the children generally know exactly what's happening to them and are not resistant to it the same way that a grown-up would be. But she says she also has discovered that those adults, like in my case, who are out living in the land or living in a rural type community, a farming type attitude, we have a completely different approach and acceptance of what happens. And I said, oh yes, this is the way it happens. It just happens all the time. Either an animal dies or a chicken dies, or it's always something. Somebody gets injured, you can take care of certain things, and other times you just cannot. And that's just the way things are. It's the way it's set up to be, I think. We have, there's always a cost-benefit analysis kind of thing. When it comes to the alpacas, it was just time. There was nothing wrong with them, nothing that I could get a vet to fix. It was just that time of their life. So we've said goodbye to that darling elf. Her name was Everglow. I've had her for a very long time. She's one of my original ones, one of the original babies born on the farm. So it was time. I knew it was time, and I kept waiting. That's why she could mime death, and I would fall for it every time, because it was that time. And the donkey. So here we are, another exciting day out in my life, in my little world of out in the country and living with the wild animals and stuff. So I hope everyone has a very good day, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed any of this story.